Hello and welcome. In this presentation, I will talk about some future challenges in engineering posed by population growth, as well as their impacts on the computer and electronics industry. Right, I'll first introduce population growth and its linked issues. Then, I'll go some over long-term projections for world energy uses. Finally, I will discuss some impacts on the computers and electronics industry caused by the above. Right. First, population growth and how it relates to other challenges. As we have learned in this chapter, the world population is projected at 9 billion people in 28 years from now. As we grow in number of people, our usage of natural and human resources will also rise. However, not all necessary resources are always available, and especially they might not be adequate to supply population growing pace. The Earth gives humans limited real estate. As the population grows, land and forests would need to be destroyed to make room for more people. For example, population growth and pollution. This is a familiar yet significant problem. Activities like burning coal and releasing wastewater without adequate processing can severely damage our environment on a grand scheme. Properly processing and recycling waste, especially solid waste, is also a significant challenge. Burning is not a sustainable solution. Also, it is of basic knowledge that we shall be aware of our environment. We will not be able to live while we keep destroying the planet in which we live. For example, the mica cement, which is an important ingredient for concrete introduced in a previous presentation that I made. This requires burning fuel like coal in kilns. While this can cause air pollution, however, concrete is used widely, and thus as human grows in number, more concrete constructions may be constructed. And also chemical processing and waste from common life activities flowing down the water stream can cause water pollution. A higher population likely requires more processing so that post-processing water comes out clean for the environment. Let's talk about population growth and energy. Right, electricity generated from heat, water, solar, wind energy, and some familiar terms for us in this day and age. As our population grows, more energy is needed. Some natural resources like fossil fuels are not unlimited, and other sources of energy like water stream or wind can also suffer climate change. Moreover, not all kinds of energy are available in one place, and we need to develop and make use of alternatives. The more people there are, the more significant this becomes. And then transportation. High population growth requires complex and efficient transportation systems that can effectively help people commute. Roads, highways, parking don't expand themselves automatically, and various streets and roads still experience congestion, especially in rush and peak hours, as we could see here in Vancouver, which means we are not yet ready for instance, double the number of people commuting. Let's talk about long-term projections for the world energy usage and some factors that could increase or decrease the demand for use of energy. Right. So this is the data from US Energy Information Administration, or EIA. About 50% increase in world energy usage by 2050 can be seen. Most comes from countries that are not in the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. So we can call them OECD. So OECD is an intergovernmental economic organization That's a forum for countries describing themselves as committed to democracy and the market and economy, providing a platform to compare policy experiences, seek answers to common problems, identify good practices, and coordinate domestic and international policies of its members. So, some of the OECD members include Australia, Austria, Belgium, Canada, various European countries, Japan, South Korea, Mexico, New Zealand, United Kingdom, and United States. Right. So, industrial sector accounts for the largest share of energy consumption as predicted, as you could see in the figure on the right side. Transportation energy consumption increased by nearly 40% by 2050. Transportation energy consumption in non-OECD countries will also see a significant increase. That's 80% of increase. Building sector will experience 65% increase. Well, transportation energy consumption in non-OECD countries will see a significant increase because of personal travel and freight movement. They grow in these countries more rapidly than many OECD countries, for example, more than United States or United Kingdom. The building sector will experience an increase due to rising income, urbanization, and increased access to electricity. Right. So electricity will also increase, and it will increase 79%. And there are two sectors that are mainly of a concern. So residential sector, it is due to rising population and demand for appliances and personal equipment that the use of electricity will increase. Transportation sector, due to plug-in electric vehicles and rail expense. Right. So about energy itself, we do predict, according to the data, that renewables like solar, wind, hydroelectric power become the most used energy source. And this is a positive outlook as we try to avoid the use of fossil fuels like coal. Natural gas consumption increased more than 40%, and liquid fuels consumption will increase more than 20%. Right, so let's talk about the impacts on the computers and electronics industry. The computer and electronic industry, so there are two things to talk about. First, the population growth. More computers and electronic appliances will be wanted, as people demand more for appliances and personal equipment. That's, not hard to see. A solid waste problem as well will become more significant, especially when manufacturers intendedly make products that do not last long and limit the freedom of people to apply modifications and fixes onto products to extend their lifetimes. Basically, they claim to make products that good for customer and everything, but then they would make it last for a few years, and then customers will be encouraged in a way to buy even more products from them, and they follow the same fashion. And also, customers are limited from making modifications to their products to extend the lifetime, because when they come to those stores, the companies, they will reject the product and say that these products are altered without the companies people doing their services, and so they will kind of decline service for them. Energy usage as well. We'll see a higher demand for electricity, especially if cryptocurrency mining stays trending. So cryptocurrency mining requires a lot of power. For example, a Bitcoin mining station might consume a substantial amount of power to keep multiple mining computers up and running, performing complex calculations all day long. Right? And that's my presentation on the topic. Thank you very much for watching.